So welcome back to Las Vegas, and today is the last day of the ICC 2016. We've had numerous keynotes and tutorials today, and here with me is Patrice Roulet from ImmerVision, who's given the final tutorial of this conference. Patrice has talked about 360 degrees imaging and optical sensors, etc. And he's kindly agreed to spend a few minutes with us to share some of his expertise and answer a few questions. I'd like to start off, Patrice, by asking you about on the show floor at CES, we've seen a lot of virtual reality, augmented reality, and other interesting imaging applications. However, you explained in your talk that there is not enough content being produced for these. Why is that?
Exactly. So that's when you walk the show, you can see a lot of head-mounted display, but there is no easy way or just a few ways for an end user to create contents for VR. So that's what the 360 technology bring to the consumer electronic industry, is really the way and putting the way to create content in the people's hands to ensure that the head-mounted display like Oculus Rift, Samsung Gear VR and all the others will have some success.
Okay, now you explained that we can capture this 360 degree or content that is needed to be viewed on virtual reality and augmented reality devices. It can be captured with a panomorphic lens, which is a bit like a fisheye. What's the difference?
The difference is huge. So basically the fisheye has a regular or linear repartition of the pixel density across the field of view. So no matter where you look at in the field of view, the resolution is the same, the pixel density is the same. Even on the periphery, the pixel density decreases. With the panomorph technology, we add 2 degrees of freedom in the lens design. So basically, we magnify an area of interest, and we can, depending on the application, magnify the periphery of the field of view, the center of the field of view, to increase the quality at the end of the product. So let me pick 2 examples. For example, a back-to-back camera with 2 360-degree lens, we magnify the periphery to have the best resolution, where there is the overlap, where we need it for stitching. On the opposite, surgery, endoscopy, when the surgeon goes to the body cavity, you want to have the full 360 to see the stools and the surgery, but in the same time, the surgeon wants to have the best resolution right in the middle of the field of view, like behave human eyes. So basically, that's the flexibility that provides panomorph technology compared to old technology like fisheye.
Okay, now how big is a panomorphic lens, and how, if I had one on my mobile phone or on my tablet, how much would it protrude from there?
So it's really depends the user experience. So for example, the smallest wide-angle lens in the world, and not only panomorph lens, even including fisheye and all the other, is 3.8 millimeters. So it was designed by us, by ImmerVision. So that's the thickness of the lens. Then you have the choice to integrate it below the cover glass of the device. And in this case, you have 170 degree field of view, or protruding by 100 micron to have 180 degree field of view. So that's the choice that the OEM makes when they do product, and so it's really depending on what the application and what they want to do.
Okay. I see. So once we've captured a panomorphic image, or an image with a panomorphic lens, this appears a bit like a circle or an oval on the image sensor, where the center contains the image information, the color image, and the outside, the 4 corners, are mostly black. How do we turn that into something that is nice to look at, or that could provide an immersive experience?
Okay, so basically, that's a very good question. So basically, we invented technology to leverage the full corners, to add some contents in those corners to enhance the 360-degree experience. So basically, with wide-angle image and the panomorph image, you have the full 360 image, but that's the first time where you do not display what you record. So you record the full 360, but at the end you display just a small section and you navigate inside the full 360 bubble. To do this, you need parameters, and you have two choices. You can transport those parameters as separate data, separate from the video or the image, or you can include this inside the image to be sure that the parameter will stay always with the image. And that's the technology we developed. So adding some marks in those corners to include all the parameters like lens parameters, user experience parameters, and more than that, we can add the orientation of the device, the GPS, in the car industry, the status of the brakes, for example, in drone, the altitude. So basically, it's like a new way to broadcast the data in the same time than the image. Crazy example. Okay, we are at the technology show, but let's say all technology. I take a panomorph image with those markers, I print it, I mail it to you, you receive it, you scan it, you put this image in an ImmerVision enabled software, and it works. So the transmission of the metadata sustain the 100 or 200 years ago technology means the mailing.
So, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is that this additional metadata is needed so that when I'm using a receiving device or a display device, I see what is well, either I understand the characteristics with which the image was acquired, so that I can then display it in the best possible way.
Exactly.
Now, turning that circular or oval image from the center of the image sensor into a usable image. Let's say we just take we want to have a group selfie come out of that. So we want to clip part of the image or crop part of the image out of that. You mentioned dewarping in your presentation. Could you tell us a little bit about dewarping and how computationally intensive it is?
So basically, the dewarping is really the action, as you said, to crop a part of the image and to flatten the image and remove the distortion. So, and this processing takes place in the standard video processing pipeline as a block. So at the same level than the noise correction and compression and all other treatment. And it's really designed to be low power and low power consumption. So basically, on a low-end device, low-end smartphone, we are more limited by the screen frame rate, the 60 frames per second, than the dewarping. So the dewarping goes faster and outperform the screen frame rate.
So if I'm an ODM and I want to integrate this into my product, a smartphone, tablet, sports camera, whatever, what do I need to add into my device apart from the lens? Do I need to put an ASIC, a specialized chip, for doing this dewarping, or will it run in software?
So basically, everything is there. I mean, most of the SoC or the processor has the capability to run the processing. So depending the device you do, you have two choices. One, first you integrate the lens, and then you integrate the marking technology. The image goes out of the device with the mark, and then you can display it on the remote software. That's one approach for sports cam, for example. The other approach is like mobile phone, is integrating the marking and the dewarping on the same device. And in this case, it's just a customization of the software layer inside the SoC. So basically, there is different layer, and we fine-tune the code, and we integrate the dewarping inside.
It's not an additional chip?
No.
Okay. Finally, let's talk about standardization activities for 360 imaging. What is happening, and what is ImmerVision doing?
So basically, the 360 is not a new technology, but now it's picking up with VR, and there is different companies starting the standardization initiative. What we bring, and those standardization initiatives require to transform the image. So with a, let's say, planispheric format. What we bring with the marking technology and all the parameters, we keep the image as is captured on the sensor, and including the parameter inside the image. Means at the end it's the software displaying the image during the transformation. So this avoid image degradation when you do the transformation, especially with panomorph technology, where we put some emphasis in some area of interest. So if the optical designer fight to put to magnify some area, we don't want to break and destroy the image quality by doing a transformation.
Understood. Where do you expect the first applications of this to be used? Will it be for sporting events or for, sporting activities captured by consumers, or will it be for what else could it be? Teleconferencing. What do you think is like the killer application that's going to get this off the ground?
Okay. So basically, in the industrial world, surveillance, it's a must. There is already 35 brands, including Samsung and Sony, using our technology inside their camera, and more than 100 software like Honeywell, Tyco, integrating the software technology, the algorithm. So ImmerVision enables is already a standard in surveillance, and we bring this technology to consumer world. Sorry. So and now there is competition between action cam, sports cam, live logging cam, and smartphone. Who would be the first? I don't know yet, but you will see that in 2016.
Very good. I would like to first of all thank you very much, Patrice, for giving us not only a stimulating tutorial, but also for taking some time to answer our questions, as well as showing the audience some of the demos after your tutorial earlier. But before we conclude this video recording, I think it's time, just at the end of this conference, we've had 3 days in Las Vegas, to recognize not only what a wonderful 3 days we've had here, but also to think about the people and show some recognition for the ones not just on this side of the camera, but the ones on the other side. So with that, I would like to thank Professor Konstantin Glassman and his team, Victor and Irina, for your great work and good collaboration over the last few days. Thank you. And goodbye from Las Vegas.